Now, I don't usually show warm-up shots on the videos, but first shot with the Titleist TS4. Oh. In 2019, Titleist fans may have come accustomed to this head cover, belonging to the TS2 and TS3 driver. Now, TS4. Let's do it, and let's do it now. Hi everyone, James Robinson here. If you're new to the channel and this is your very first time watching my content, first of all, welcome to the channel. And second of all, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave. On this channel, I bring you guys golf-related content every single day, which helps you raise your game, lower your handicap, and hopefully just gets you enjoying golf that tiny, loads bit more. Today on the channel, we're talking Titleist brand new, low spin, pretty much player's driver, the Titleist TS4. So guys, just before we get started, hit those comments below. What do we think to the Titleist TS4 driver? Is anyone gaming a TS2? Is anyone gaming a TS3? What do we think to the timing of the Titleist TS4 driver? Are you disappointed if you've gone and spent your money on a TS2 or TS3, and now we've got another driver in the same range? Let's get back to the video. Now the Titleist TS2 and TS3 have been killing it with driver counts on both the European Tour, the PGA Tour, and at golf clubs up and down the country. So you may well be thinking, why do we have another edition? Why do we have a TS4? So compared to the current low spin option that Titleist are offering, the TS3, the TS4 is a much smaller head, 430cc. The weight is packed even more forwards, and it's designed to offer you way less spin, unless you hit it out of there, which I've just done. Now I've got to say, I was a big fan of the Titleist TS3. I used it for a while, I had it in the bag, I used it very successfully, and then I kind of moved away from it. I moved into Taylormade M5. We all know that I'm loving that driver, but this thing could well be the club that gets the Titleist potentially back in the golf bag. The TS4 is jam-packed with the same technology that the TS3 and TS2 have. We have the speed chassis, we have the ultra-thin titanium crown, and we have the ultra-thin face for enhanced ball speed. The whole idea behind the TS range is total speed, or Titleist speed. I can't really remember which one that's supposed to be, but speed. And I must say, I'm not sure if I'm just swinging particularly well today, but Mark's sat over in the corner and I think he'll agree. That's good. It's another strange one, that's two like that. Now the idea behind this driver isn't forgiveness. This has been seeded on the European and PGA Tours, and I believe it's already had a victory on the PGA Tour. But it's not really designed for the mid to high handicap player. We'll find that out because we're going to get it in the hands of our mid handicap tester. But I'm definitely noticing that I do feel like I'm swinging particularly well today, but the misses are bad. The misses are really bad. But when it's good, it's so good. Now the big piece of technology in this club obviously is the head size, but also the weighting in the front of the club. And if you look at this image now, you'll see that the weighting in the front of the club isn't actually central to the sweet spot. It's actually more offset towards the toe, which means that you're not going to have that big miss to the left. I don't know if that's purposeful, but for me it's bloody perfect. So guys, that's 10 shots hit. 10 shots hit with the Titleist TS4 low spin driver. What's it all about? For me, just before we take a look at the numbers, it looks absolutely stunning, it looks perfect, it looks beautiful in every single way. It's no It's no secret that I've always been a Titleist fan. I've always been a fan of Titleist woods. The tear-shaped head, it just looks so traditional, completely black, it looks beautiful. And this slightly smaller head, looks incredible. Let's take a look at the numbers. So numbers for the Titleist TS4. To start with, not one miss to the right. That is pretty impressive. Couple of high ballooners, and there's one that you can't see that was a real low, horrible one. But what are the numbers saying? So straight away distances all pretty impressive. There's a couple of real bad swings in there, particularly swing 4 and swing 8 and 9 to be fair, where I just caught it real high out the club face and the spin numbers were huge. It's obviously hurt the distance. Number 9 was a different one. 9 was really out the bottom and it just never launched. Let's take a look at the averages. Average distance 272, which in fairness with those 3 big misses in there is a very, very good number. If I was to take the 3 real bad misses out, wouldn't normally do this, but I'm intrigued myself. That average shoots up to nearly 280, which is a huge number for myself. Average spin with the bad numbers taken out, 2,500, which is a real nice low spinning number. But unfortunately, they have to go back in because it's a fair test. So with all the numbers back in, that average goes back to 272. Club speed 107.9, ball speed of 161, which is huge, it's massive, it's really, really good. Spin rate 3,000. Now that's because some of the bad shots were spinning at 5,000. So just for the spin numbers, we're going to take the bad ones out again. And you see how that drops to 2.5, which is a nice low spinning number. So, what do we think to the Titleist TS4 Driver? Is it that much different than the TS3 Driver? Is it that much different than the TS2 Driver? The answer has to be yes. It's completely different than the Titleist TS2 Driver, and it's a little bit different than the Titleist TS3 Driver. For me, I love the shape of the TS4. The 430cc head is just the right size. It just looks the right size. It doesn't look too small. I see this driver as a competitor for the Taylormade M5 Tour. I tried that. There's a video posted down below where I think my brother's even using it at the moment because he loves that real small head shape. But for me, the M5 Tour just looked way too small. Titleist have done this right. Titleist have done this very, very well. So much so, some of the Tour players have moved out of the TS3 into the TS4. And like I said earlier in the video, the TS4 has had a win this year. Looking at the numbers that we've just discussed, when this thing's good, it's very good. So much so, can I take it up to Dornoch with me tonight when we go up? I probably can't. But very, very good when you're swinging well. I do feel like I've swung particularly well today. Out of 10 shots, 3 real bad ones, and that brings me on to the next point. When you put a bad swing on this, when you put a not so good swing on the Titleist TS4, it's not that forgiving. I'm not gonna lie guys, if you're a low handicap, I don't like generalising things with handicaps too much because obviously you might be a low handicap because you're terrible at putting or whatever, but if you're a real good ball striker with the driver and you need that low spin option, take a look at this. Titleist are saying that they've brought this driver out for the real high speed player, high spin player who needs to lower that spin, but also for the player who generally hits down on the golf ball a lot and needs to lower that spin. And at 2,500 over 7 good shots, they are pretty good numbers for myself. I am a pretty high spin player. Usually for me, I'm around 2.8. So I've knocked 300 there off what I would expect to see. Guys, hit those comments below. Would you like to see this tested against any other drivers on the market? Would you like to see it tested against any other of the Titleist drivers on the market? Have I covered everything there? It's very rare for me that I see a small, low spinning driver which I feel like I can hit hard and I'm not too worried it's going to go offline. Even the bad shots with this driver were still pretty straight, as you can see behind me there. All pretty straight. The bad ones are still going to be on the fairway or there and thereabouts. They just didn't give me the distance that I would want. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed that. I'm James Robinson. I'm here at Huddersfield Golf Club. If you're new here, don't leave without hitting that subscribe button. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the content and hit those comments below. What do we think to the Titleist TS4 Driver? And apart from that, as always, I'll see you tomorrow.